Cryptocurrency, the one thing that makes it unique against everything else in this world is decentralization. Unfortunately, the crypto space is straying away from the one thing that sets itself apart from the traditional world of centralized finance. But we don't let crypto go down that easy. We are going back to our roots to fight back against centralization, because it's time for Chico Crypto. Yeah, decentralization, that is what crypto is all about. Bitcoin launched in 2009 and created the world's first fully decentralized money, starting a revolution that would change the world. But that revolution is coming to a grinding halt over the past year or so. Centralized blockchains, applications, and services are taking over the crypto markets. If you didn't know, out of the top 5 cryptocurrencies, 3 of them are centralized. Luckily, the top 2 are still fighting for decentralization to their cores. That's Bitcoin and Ethereum. But number 3, number 4, and number 5 all have major centralized aspects to them. Those cryptos are Binance Coin, Tether, and Solana. So today we're going to reveal their centralization and thus hopefully get the markets to realize they need to decentralize, or GTFO, get the fuck out. So let us begin with number 3, Binance, their Binance Coin and chain. The Binance Smart Chain works on a modified version of Proof-of-Stake consensus called Proof-of-Staked Authority, which only has a validator set of 21. Usually blockchains using Proof-of-Stake will have thousands of validators validating transactions, like in the case of Ethereum, which has over 280,000 validators for its Proof-of-Stake chain. Now, some of you may be like, comparing Binance Chain to Ethereum 2.0 is like comparing apples to oranges. Well, the centralization with Binance Chain gets much worse. I'm sure some of you have seen this meme. Select the image of which are Binance validators, and they're all pictures of CZ. Well, that is because Binance themselves, or Binance influence entities, are all the validators. Mizari Research and one of their analysts, Wilson Withiam, put out a great thread and infographic on this centralization and how validation is done with their chain. Wilson said, "Some might overlook the influence Binance Chain has over Binance Smart Chain's validator set. BSC has 21 active validators, making it more centralized than most platforms. This validator set is determined daily by Binance Chain, a network managed by just 11 validators. Binance launched each chain with a few trusted nodes in the validator set. BSC now supports several third-party validators, although at least 5 to 6 others have close ties to Binance. The distribution of validator accounts is far less clear for Binance Chain. It's hard to not presume that each Binance Chain validator is in some way connected or tied to Binance. They each take turns producing blocks in a seemingly predefined order. There doesn't appear to be any stake-weighted mechanism to determine which one produces the next block. For those using BSC, take the time to understand the topology of the network. Sure, the fees and speed, both UX factors, are undoubtedly preferable, but strong censorship resistance and fault tolerance are not part of the package." And CZ, he doesn't care. He is all for centralization, all while putting on the facade that he is for decentralization. January 10th, he tweeted this, "I believe in decentralization." But just a week and a half earlier, he said this on December 30th.
The centralized organizations are always ready to you up. DeFi is the future. The centralized systems at Binance. I think today we still need the centralized systems to integrate with the traditional financial industry so that we can bring the money into the crypto and also out if they want to go out.
So Binance, its chain, and the products, including their stablecoin BUSD, I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. But our next crypto, another stablecoin, Tether, is just as bad, and Binance and them have a special relationship. From the Tether rich list, the top 2 wallets are Binance Cold Storage. Shady centralization loves to keep the same company. Now, I don't want to get into the house of cards that is Binance and Tether. That is for another video. I just want to dissect the centralized aspects of Tether right now. And of course, verifying the backing of Tether, the auditing of the assets that make up USDT is as centralized as it gets. Tether has never been audited in its history, and its market cap is nearly $80 billion. From 2015 to today, Tether has said they will do an audit, but they never do. For example, in March of 2015, Tether and Factom announced they had formed a partnership to provide greater transparency into Tether's holdings, and that audit never happened. The same thing happened in 2016 and 2017. In 2016, Ledger Labs was supposed to do one. It never happened. 2017, Tether announced they had engaged Friedman LLP in New York to perform a comprehensive balance sheet audit. This never happened either. Well, let's fast forward to recent times, July of 2021, and hear what lead counsel for Tether, Stuart Hoegner, had to say about an audit.
Quick question, just to follow up on the audit, to go back a tiny little bit. I know that you said you would be thrilled to be the first sort of crypto company and stablecoin to go through an audit. Do you have a date in mind?
We don't at this time, no. But we are reaching back a couple of years for the financial audit, and that is in process.
Okay, do you think that's years away, months away? Any
months,
clues?
not years.
Only months away?
Yes, we think so.
Okay, great. Well, I hope you'll bring it to us, and we'd love to see it.
I'm sure you'll hear about it.
Months away, an audit, not an attestation. Well, it's been over 6 months, half a year since that conversation, and there has been no audit nor any more conversations from the Tether talking heads about doing one. Tether and its backing is a pure example of centralized trust. Tether is basically saying, just trust us. It's fully backed. We will eventually do an audit, but they just keep kicking the can down the road. But that isn't even the full story of their centralization. Tether can freeze funds, USDT, and they have done it in the past. Now, Tether originally started out decentralized on the Omni layer of Bitcoin, but in November of 2017, that all changed because Tether had $31 million stolen from the Tether treasury. So they changed Omni Core to block the stolen funds. Tether became centralized because their own security sucked. Well, freezing funds didn't stop in 2017. Halfway through 2020, they blacklisted and froze 22 Ethereum addresses. And just a few days ago, Tether froze 160 million in USDT. And CTO of Tether, Paulo, admitted this centralization in 2020. He said, Tether USDT is a centralized stablecoin as others. We have duties towards users, regulators, and law enforcement. We have anyway strict rules and parameters for action. We won't slip outside those. So Tether centralization goes too far for me, but what about the next coin on the centralized list? Number 5, Solana. Well, Solana plays it like this isn't the case. From their website, they say decentralized and unstoppable. Not only is Solana ultra fast and low cost, it is censorship resistant, meaning the network will remain open for applications to run freely and transactions will never be stopped. Oh, really? Everyone should know September 14th, when Solana went down for almost an entire day. 17 hours the network was down and transactions were stopped. Then in December, there was a 6-hour stoppage, of which the Solana Twitter announced that blocks were stopped being produced, and they would need to restart the network. And then, to begin this year, January 5th, Solana had another outage, causing degraded performance, and reportedly it went down for another 4 hours. Solana has gone down 3 times in just 6 months. Solana is stoppable, which is a feature of centralization. So how is Solana centralized? Well, I actually covered this Solana centralization the day before the first major outage, September 14th. Let's just replay the important parts of that video posted September 13th. For the minimum right now with no GPU, it would cost you $5,000 just for the computer hardware. If you wanted all the best to future-proof, including a couple GPUs, it would cost you over $12,000. That is for the hardware alone, my friends. Compared with Ethereum, of which you can run a validator with a cheap as heck Raspberry Pi, it's a frickin' supercomputer. That is why the majority of Solana validator nodes are not run by people at their homes, they are run in data centers. Validators.app has Solana validators sorted and ranked by stake in data centers. As we can see, there's a total population of 1,044 validators on Solana. From the top 5 data centers ranked by stake, there are 332 of them located in the data centers. That is nearly 1/3, 31% of all validators in just 5 data centers. From the total stake of Solana, those 5 data centers control over 50% of the stake on the network. Can you say centralized AF as freak? To become a Solana validating node, you either build a supercomputer or you put your node in a data center, of which a majority of the nodes are doing the latter. But let's just say you decide to build that supercomputer. Can you become an effective validator? Well, no, you would need to spend more money. You would need to get a stake of Solana on your node. Let's listen to that previous video once again. So how much Solana do you need? Well, we can check out Solana Beach and their validators section. As we can see, the top validators have millions upon millions of Solana staked. And scrolling down and down and down and down some more to the 800s, you still need over 100,000 Solana to validate blocks. At yesterday's prices, you would need over $17 million to be an effective chosen validator on Solana. This isn't a blockchain you or I can participate in. It's a blockchain for the rich. Per example, here's a smaller validator from GBV Capital with 2,697 Solana staked, which is still over $500,000. How many blocks has it validated and been rewarded for? Just 2 blocks, and those 2 blocks came 4 months ago in May. This validator with $500,000 hasn't been rewarded or proposed a block in over 4 months. Let that sink in. It gets worse. How about this node from Huka2 with 101 Solana staked? They don't even get a single block, nothing, this node, and it's very unlikely they will ever be picked in the selection rotation. Yikes is all Chico has to say. But don't worry, the centralized chains and assets will cannibalize each other. It's already kind of happening. For example, just a couple days ago, the Binance exchange said that the Solana blockchain was congested and withdrawals for Sol were halted and delayed. But then FTX, who's on Team Solana, at the same time was saying BSC was congested. Perfect place and timing for that Spider-Man meme, wouldn't you say? Cheers, viewers. I'll see you next time.